Hi, good evening, all of you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Right. Hope you all can hear me. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Still there's some coming in. Well, now we'll start the discussion today. Right. Okay. Let me share my screen. Right. Okay. Now, during the previous session, I started to talk about the consonants and vowel sounds, right? And I started my discussion on consonant sounds also, only started. Hope you remember. Okay. So today, this session is a continuation of what I started last week on consonant sounds as well as vowels. Okay, so today I expect to wind up the discussion on consonants, vowels, and diphthongs uh, with some small activities as well. Okay, right. So already I sent this material to your groups. So you have this with you all now. Okay. So therefore, I hope I'll be able to quickly discuss these areas. Since you have the notes also with you, right? It'll be easy for us. Fine. Okay, so shall we start the discussion? Yeah, let the others come. Right, I will start the work, okay? Right. So now talking about the consonants then. Actually, I don't have an intention to repeat, okay? Everything I was discussing during the latter part of the previous session. But as an approach to today's discussion, I want to remind certain areas regarding consonant sounds, right? So regarding the basics of the consonant sounds, because in this session, we are going to look at the consonant sound production in detail. Not only the consonant, as I told, vowel and diphthongs also, right? Okay, so now you have something in common, right? You have the knowledge about the basic knowledge about the sound production, which was our earlier topic there. There we were talking about the pulmonic receiver stream and how it functions, right? And how it plays the role of as the basis of any human speech sound production, right? So that basic discussion we already had. So therefore, talking about the consonants directly, how do you identify the consonant sound production? Actually, that is an important question to be raised at the beginning, and throughout the discussion, you have to know the answer. In the sense, you have to have an idea about how consonants are produced and how consonant sound production is different from vowel sound production. So when I ask from you, how do you understand the production of consonant sounds? What would be your answer? You have the clue in this slide itself, right? Yeah. This is the place directly contrasting vowels and consonants, right? While vowels tend to continue the airstream, consonants tend to break it. That's the difference in simple language, of course, right? But you need to understand the incident in detail. So I told you airstream is the basis of the any sound produced inside the vocal tract, right? So this airstream, how it behaves and what kind of changes are done to that, based on all these factors, we can differentiate vowels and consonant production. So when you think about the flow of the airstream, right? When we produce a vowel sound, as you can see in this point, this airstream doesn't face any disturbance. It continues freely. Tend to continue, right? It continues inside the vocal tract. Whereas when we produce a consonant sound, we do not continue the airstream freely. Instead, airstream faces some disturbances, right? It is blocked anywhere. So many places are there inside the oral tract. So where the airstream is blocked and then released, and this blocking can be full blocking or partial blocking. Different manners are also involved. Okay, so like whatever manner, consonants, in case of consonants, this airstream has to be broken, right? Consonants tend to break the airstream. So that is the point. So throughout this discussion today, we are going to see how this happens in relation to consonants and in relation to vowel sounds, right? Okay, so first we will look at the consonants then. When we talk about the consonants, we need to pay attention to the classification, right? So these the classification of consonants is quite vast, right? It has a very big area, very big sphere. So we can identify, right? Based on these features, which you can see in red color on screen here. Okay, 4 features of the consonants, right? So you have the vibration, right? If I read these red lines, state of the glottis, right? If anybody has a problem, you can talk. Shara, anything? Any problem?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, right. I heard something, that's why I thought somebody's trying to speak. Right. So if we look at these 4 features, you can see state of the glottis is one deciding factor. And another deciding factor. Deciding factor here means a factor that decides what kind of a consonant is going to be produced. State of the vellum. And third one, place of articulation. And fourth one, manner of articulation. So when you talk about the state of the glottis, here we are talking about what is happening inside the larynx, right? Larynx, and inside the larynx, we have the vocal cords. The vocal cords are vibrating, right? So sometimes vocal cords are highly vibrating and sometimes they are not that much highly vibrating. Accordingly, the particular consonant sound which is going to be produced will be either voiced consonant or voiceless consonant. Okay, so that is what is decided. Whether the consonant is voiced or voiceless is decided by the first feature, state of the glottis. Right, and the second one, state of the vellum, means the soft palate. Soft palate, another word is vellum. So when the soft palate is lowered, we produce nasal consonants, and when the soft palate is raised, we produce oral consonants. So vellum is the other important factor deciding the consonant sound to be nasal or oral. Right, now you can find here these first 2 factors. So first 2 features help decide a consonant to be either voiced or voiceless or nasal or oral, right? Only 2 types of consonants are decided by first 2 features, right? And when you talk about the place of articulation, that talks about where, particularly in which place inside your vocal tract, especially inside the oral tract rather than the vocal tract. Oral tract, you produce the relevant consonant sound. Location, right? Location where the stricture or place of maximum interference occurs and what articulators are involved, right? Location and the articulators. We talk about the particular location of a consonant sound which is produced inside the oral tract, as well as what kind of articulators are coming into contact in producing that sound and the place of articulation. Right. And the fourth feature, manner. In manner of articulation, we talk about manner means how, right? How a particular consonant is produced. So these factors will be considered, like the amount of stricture. Amount of stricture is here, which means how much do we block, or how far do we block the airstream? How far the blocking takes place. That's the idea, right? Sometimes it is complete, it's sometimes partial, right? If it is complete, that is phonetically called close approximation. And if it is partial, it is called open approximation, partial or fully open, right? So likewise, we talk about the nature of the production of the relevant consonant. So under manner of articulation. So remember, these are the four features talking about about how consonants are produced and where they are produced, right? So on the other hand, actually, they are the deciding factors in deciding particular class or type of the consonant, right? Okay, so let's now come to the consonants. There are 22 consonants there, so I'm showing one by one, but I'll quickly put everything here, okay? Right? How many consonants are there? If anybody would like to answer, how many consonants are there?
Except the 5 vowels sound.
No,
Others are
I'm
consonant.
Hurry. Okay, right. So how many? Any number?
21.
Yeah, 20,
21.
21. What is missing? Sumaya?
There are 26 in alphabet, but vowel sounds.
Right.
Vowels
Not
are five.
confuse Sumaya. Don't confuse with the Roman alphabet. We are not talking about the Roman alphabet here. And in the Roman alphabet, you have 26 letters and they are just the letters. Nothing to do with sounds. Here we are talking about International Phonetic Alphabet. According to International Phonetic Alphabet, IPA, okay, how many consonants are there?
22.
22. I have shown them here, right? They are there now. These are there in your notes also? I think I have given you these symbols in the note. Right, simply you can count. There are 22 consonants, and in this list, the last two sounds also I will show you. These two are not exactly consonants, right? These two are semi-vowels. So including the two semi-vowels, you have 24 entries here in this slide. Okay, but 22 are consonants and 2 are semi-vowels, right? Okay, so be familiar with the symbols. That is a must. Okay, you have to remember these symbols. So as it takes time, I didn't show you these symbols one by one and had a separate discussion. But when you look at all these symbols, now just ignore the last two, right? Because otherwise you will confuse. Okay, just don't, for the moment, think about the last two semi-vowels and look at the consonants here. They are, what can you, yeah, wait, right. Now, in most of the symbols, right? Now, what you can find in red color are the phonetic symbols that are used to represent the relevant consonant sound, right? Okay, so you can find the relevant consonant sound in the given words easily because I have underlined that letter. I have underlined the particular letter that shows the sound, okay? That indicates the relevant sound we are talking about. But most of this time, both are the same. Both means the letter and the IPA symbol are the same most of the time, but there are differences there, right? Now, when you think about the consonant per, b, these phonetic symbols, they are same to the letter P and letter B. Okay, and letter K as well. But see this situation. I am marking the different situations. Okay. Now here CAT caten, that is the graphemes are these letters CAT spellings. But although the letter is C, we pronounce it with the sound K, cat. So that is why when you transcribe CAT into the phonetic script, you have to use the symbol, this symbol, K, representing K sound, right? And G, T, D, F, V, M, N, they are familiar, and they are familiar because they are same with the letter, right? And here you have another unfamiliar symbol. If you have not learned phonetics and classification of consonants, these may be unfamiliar to you. If you have already learned, okay, no issue. I hope you remember, right? Now, this is somewhat unfamiliar symbol, but sound is familiar to you, right? You get this sound in the middle of the word ink, nothing. Okay, so you can switch on, switch off your mics and try to identify these sounds by pronouncing on your own, okay? To be heard to yourself, that's enough. So this is ng, right? Ng. And ng is there in the middle of ink and at the end of nothing. Ng sound. And this is how you write the symbol. It's like this. Okay, right. And here comes another unfamiliar kind of symbol. Unfamiliar because this is, you don't have any equal letter like per, b, k. You don't have any letter like that. That's why I'm telling unfamiliar, right? This is the. You write the like this. Something like this, and you find the sound in so many words, one word is thin here at the beginning of the word, is there, right? And there's another unfamiliar one, the sound is the like this, that, they, though, those, these, etc. The sound, you write the sound like this, right? Okay. Fine. And this is sir, like in said, and z, like in zoo, zip, Zulu, even zombie, z. Right. Here comes another quite different symbol. This represents the sound sh, like in shop or shoe. Sh, you write it like this. You need to elongate the latter part down, right? Otherwise, this symbol and this symbol would look the same. If you don't elongate the latter part, I mean, elongate, drag it down if you don't do it. So this is sh. And the next sound is j. Well, so how do you say this word? How are you used to pronounce the word I underline now? Usually, how have you heard or how are you pronouncing P-L-E-A-S-U-R-E? Anybody? Switch on the mic and tell me.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. That is how you are used to, right? Okay, what about this word then? L-E-I-S-U-R-E? L-E-I-S-U-R-E.
Pleasure.
L-L, yeah. Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Any other student? M-E-A-S-U-R-E?
Measure.
Measure.
How?
Measure.
Another one? Another
Measure.
Right. Okay. Now I heard different pronunciations, especially at the beginning when you were telling pleasure and leisure also. Right? Should be not sh. Okay. Sometimes you might hear people are pronouncing this as pleasure. This is not pleasure. It is not this latter part. Is not as that light. Okay. It has to have a weight. Weight means we are voicing. We voice sh sound. Then it is pronounced as not as sh. It is pronounced as j. Pleasure. I hope you all can clearly hear my voice. Measure, leisure, pleasure. Right? That j sound is this. This is the symbol that represents j sound. Right? Okay. And then the next one, l and r, her, and you get another set of unfamiliar symbols. This is for the sound ch. Yeah, ch. Ch. In these two words, you get ch at the beginning of chin and beginning and end of church. Ch sound. Right now, there's another option. If you don't like this symbol, okay? Right? If you don't like this symbol, you have another alternative. If you like, you can use this. No issue. Actually, I should put strokes for all the symbols, okay? You can't write any phonetic symbol in isolation like what I did now. I am not in that habit, but as I want to discuss quickly, I didn't put the slashes. Right. Wherever you put, you write a phonetic symbol, remember to put it within two slashes like what I have done here. Right. Okay. So this is also used for ch, another equal symbol. Right. Either you can use the first one or second one, but not both. When you transcribe a sentence or a paragraph, always be consistent, right? Always use one symbol everywhere. The same symbol everywhere to indicate the sound, the same sound, right? And the next one, the sound is j, right? J. Now you can see j is used in judge, both beginning and end, right? But the spellings are different. Judge and even jug, the beginning, right? J sound. Here also you have another symbol if you don't like this, of course. Don't like in the sense if you don't want to use this, you have another alternative, this one. Right? Now don't confuse this symbol with the letter J. This is not letter J, right? You don't have any dot here. It's not a dot. It's a small V-shaped mark. Right? The diacritics. We call these diacritics. And hope the mark is clear on my screen. So this you can use instead of the other one if you like, right? Well, so these are the 22 consonant sounds. And if you think that these sounds are not very clear, still no issue. Only thing is practice. Practice in the sense you can do this very easily, right? Have some time, right? Take some minutes and not now, later when you study this. Write additional word for each entry. For each sound, write another word which you can find containing that particular sound, like palm, pot, or apple, the middle, right? And underline the particular place of that sound, sorry, that word where you get that sound. Like that, you can add another word, at least one more word. Then you have to, when you do that work, you have to pronounce the word, right? You have to pronounce and you have to identify whether the relevant sound is available there or not. Then it will be really a good practice. Okay. So if you think that these symbols and these sounds are not yet clear, you can do that work. Even if they are clear, better to do, right? It will be a good practice to you, right? And here we have the last two sounds. These are, I told, these are semi-vowels, not directly belonging to the consonant category, right? They don't belong directly to the consonant category because they are not 100% consonants. They are not 100% vowels as well, and that is why we call them semi-vowels. Half consonant, half vowel. Because these two sounds have the characteristics of both vowels and consonants, right? They have the characteristics of both categories. So that is why we call them half vowels, half consonants. So you have the first semi-vowel, this one, w. This is w. But remember, this is different from w, right? Okay, I'm talking about this sound and this sound. These two are different. The sound is the same. That's the point, okay? The sound you produce is the very same, but how you produce that sound is totally different between these two. This one is the consonant, no, right? This is the consonant, and we produce the consonant b like this. Van, women, b, b. If you can see me, you can find how we produce it. B, right? How do we do? There, we bite the lower lip with the upper teeth. B, right? But when we produce the semi-vowel, we don't do anything like that. We round both lips, both upper lip and the lower lip. We round and produce the same sound there. W, w, right? W. So how do you say these words? W-O-R-R-Y. We never say worry, right? And when? No. Worry, when, what? You can feel your two lips are rounding. So in such situations, we produce the semi-vowel, not the consonant. Okay? And whenever you round your lips, you produce a semi-vowel. That is how we produce the first semi-vowel. And the second one, it is now, there will be another confusion now because you with the symbol here, right? See this? This is again not the letter J. This is very same to the letter J in Roman alphabet. But you can find the two slashes there. Two slashes means this symbol represents a sound, not a letter. Sound is this. Did you notice the sound? Identify the sound? The first sound of this word.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in yellow or yogurt, yeah, initial sound. So this sound can come at the initial position or middle or whatever position in a word, right? Yeah. So here, yeah. So both these are semi-vowels, as I earlier told, because they contain characteristics of both vowels and consonant sounds. They are like vowels because, right? These informations are not there in the note, I hope. Yeah, right. They are considered to be vowels, I mean, semi-vowels, half vowels, because we do not block the airstream, right? Now you say, try to produce these two semi-vowels one by one, keeping your attention to the airflow, the airstream, what happens to the airstream when you say these two vowels, semi-vowels. Or half consonants, w. We do not block the airstream. Even when we say yeah, we do not block the airstream. Instead, we shape the airstream by using our speech organs, right? We use the two lips and shape the airstream, just like what we do in a consonant. In a consonant production also, we use the articulators or speech organs to shape the airstream. In that manner, in that way, we shape it. But we do not block the airstream. And that is about w, two lips. And when we produce y, we don't use lips, right? In the production of y, okay, I'll give the chance to anybody here who likes to talk. How do you produce the second semivowel? Second means the last semivowel. Y. Any idea? What happens to your airstream? Anybody who like to say something? Yeah. At least what are the two articulators involved there? If you have any idea. Yes. Now in these areas, you have to produce the sounds. Otherwise, by listening or even by looking at me, you will not totally realize the complete production. Okay, you have to physically feel it by yourselves. Here we produce, yeah, Nirosha, anything
Yes,
ready?
when we pronounce the last sound, we release the air.
Yeah.
But when we pronounce w, we insert the air inside our both cheeks, and we round our lips and we pronounce.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
last one is a little bit different. We release the air.
Yeah. Now, thanks, dear, for your response. Now, here I want to make a little correction, Nirosha. In both situations, of course, we release the air, right? We release the air. So if you have a doubt, you just hold your hand, and say, you might feel puff of air, right? In all, not both, right? In all the consonants, diphthongs, vowels, we release the air. At the end of the production, the airstream goes out of our body, either through mouth or nose. That is there, but how we do it is different. Especially when we talk about the last two semivowels, here we shape, as I told, we shape the airstream by rounding our lips. So then airstream flows through the lips, producing w sound, right? But when we produce the last one, next semivowel, here, we shape the airstream by using our tongue and the hard palate, right? What we do is to raise our tongue. Tongue in the sense, now there are so many parts in the tongue. I'm talking about the middle part, right? The middle part of the tongue, which is called the front of the tongue. It is raised near the hard palate. It is almost touching but not touching completely, right? It rises near the hard palate, and through that small space in between the tongue and the hard palate, airstream flows. Yeah, I mean, simply you all have to produce the sound and feel and check what I am telling is correct or not, at least. Right, yeah. We shape the airstream by closing the two articulators, hard palate and the front part of the tongue. Okay, that is how we produce it. So they are also, finally, airstream goes out of the body. Right. Okay. Hope you are clear with the last two sounds as well. Right. Well, so I'm moving then on to, now remember these sounds. Remember in the sense you need to remember the consonant sounds, the semivowels as well, plus their symbols. Remember the sounds along with the symbol. Otherwise, you will not be able to do the transcription easily, right? Okay. Right. So then we have a place and manner of articulation, right? Place of articulation comes next. Actually, these two features are more important than the earlier features because here we have sub-classification of consonants. We are classifying consonants in a detailed manner into bilabials, labiodental, so and so, under place of articulation separately and under manner of articulation separately. Okay, right. Yeah. So we'll look at the places then. According to the specific place of articulation of the production of any consonant sound, we can give a name, right? We name the consonant, the relevant consonant. So there are bilabial consonants, labiodental consonants. Excuse me. Dental consonants, alveolar consonants, alveopalatal consonants, so and so. So you need to have some understanding about the nature and which means the place of these consonant sounds. For example, what do you know about the bilabial consonants and why do you call them bilabial? That's how you need to take this, right? So bilabial consonants are the consonant sounds that are produced. I'm not directly reading these lines, okay? That are produced by using both lips, both upper lip and the lower lip, bilabials, right? And here also mostly lower lip is more active than the upper lip, right? Okay, so one bilabial consonant I told I produced during the previous discussion, right? Previous slide. What is that? Okay, we found so many, right? Okay, I'll tell per. And you have b also. Example is given b. And another example for bilabial consonant per. And there's one more. Can you please identify that?
M.
M,
Correct. Yes.
V,
Per,
B,
per
M,
is there. I'm writing the phonetic symbols, okay? And the other one, m.
Yeah.
Right. And now
V,
these are consonants. No, we are talking about consonants here, but there is a bilabial semivowel. Of
V.
course, you don't have to take it here, right? Don't write that example here because we are talking about the consonants only. But for your For your knowledge, what is that?
V,
This one, right? First bilabial consonant. Sorry, bilabial semivowel. This
Semivowel.
semivowel is bilabial because we need to use here also both lips, right? W. That is also bilabial sound, but not a consonant, right? Okay, so these are the sounds. Per, Burma are the only 3 bilabial consonants, right? When you talk about the labiodental, you need to understand labio means lips and dental means teeth. But we have 2 lips and 2 teeth, no? So we talk about the lower lip and the upper teeth, not vice versa. Not vice versa, right? It is the lower lip and the upper teeth. So what happens is that when we produce labiodental consonants, we bite the lower lip with the upper teeth. The lower lip is brought up against the upper front teeth, right? Upper front teeth. So in all these descriptions, you can find the tongue position also. So please go through the note, right? I'm explaining this. Mostly I will not be reading all these lines, right? So this is the place. The front upper teeth bites the lower lip, right? You have one example. There are 2 labiodental sounds only among the 22 consonants list. You have f given here. And what is the other one?
V,
V.
Correct. F and b.
V.
They both have the same place of articulation. And also both have the same manner of articulation. Both are fricatives, right? We'll talk about it. But there is one difference. Can you guess that? F, V. Both are oral consonants also, right? Can you guess then how these two are different? F, V. Same way of producing. Any idea? I think I have asked that question a little bit too early. right? Never mind. Yeah.
When we pronounce V, we bite our lower lip by upper teeth.
Yeah. And when we produce fur, also the same thing happens, right? We bite our lower lip with the upper teeth. Fur, ver. Same play, same way. But there is a difference regarding the voicing, right? The position or the state of the glottis is different. Fur, vocal cords are not vibrating, not very much vibrating. Whereas when
Voiceless.
yeah, voiceless. And when you produce were, vocal cords are vibrating, voiced. That is the only difference, right? Okay, right. Another category of class of consonant is dental. So, you know, dental means teeth, right? These dental consonants are produced at the teeth, and remember, at the teeth means we are talking about the upper teeth only, not the lower teeth, right? Remember, lower teeth doesn't play any role in the sound production, speech sound production. Then the tip of the tongue protrudes between the teeth or touches the back of the upper teeth. That is how we produce dental consonants. Like, okay, you have Spanish, the sound of ter, but don't bother too much about the Spanish language here. Think about ter in English, but you don't have the phonetic symbol given here, right? I will write the phonetic symbol. There are two dental consonants. Th is one, and tell me the other one.
The.
The, right, correct. Th and the. Th, the are the two dental consonants in relation to the English phonemes, right? So when you produce the, you can pay attention to your tongue, right? Your tip of the tongue rises and touches where? It should definitely touch the front upper teeth. The. That is why they are called dental consonants, right? And then we have another category, alveolar. Alveolar, they are called alveolar because the tongue, the tip of the tongue rises and touches the alveolar ridge. And you know where the alveolar ridge is? Do you know? This is the place, right? This is the place which we call alveolar ridge. So when you produce alveolar consonants, this tip of the tongue, right? This is the tip area. This rises and touches the alveolar ridge. Right. Okay. So what are the sounds which we produced in such a situation of the tongue? Right? What are the sounds?
The.
Hmm.
The,
L.
the,
N.
Yeah, we
L.
have na, correct. Na is there, and
V,
la also we produced in that way. And
L.
also there is another one, sir,
S, the,
The, s,
right.
the,
G, no. G
D,
in the sense, the one you find in garden, G, no, never, right? Na,
sh,
na,
the,
yeah, now there are two. Now here you have this sound given as the example. There is a little bit problem with this sound and this one which I am writing now. Okay, these two sounds regarding the Sri Lankan pronunciation, of course. Now we are used to the Sri Lankan English now, right? We are used to the Sri Lankan English vocabulary, grammar to some extent, and as well as the pronunciation. So in Sri Lankan English pronunciation, of course, we people are not producing these two sounds as alveolar consonants, actually. Although they are in IPA as alveolar sounds, right? According to Sri Lankan English pronunciation, these two are not alveolar. Why is that? Now you try producing t and d separately one by one. Think where your tongue goes. Does it exactly touch your alveolar ridge? When you say t, the, Does it exactly touch the alveolar ridge or the place after the alveolar ridge? What do you think? Yes. Still producing? Are you busy pronouncing the two sounds? One sound only once is enough. What happens to the tongue? Huh?
The t sound is little bit behind the alveolar ridge.
That's the thing, right? This tip of the tongue rises and actually does not touch exactly the alveolar ridge. It goes somewhere after the alveolar ridge, right? After the alveolar ridge, somewhere here. It touches somewhere here. Actually, the tongue curls back like this. T. You can imagine, you can feel inside your mouth when you say t, and the tongue rises and it curls back and touches the area after the alveolar ridge. Actually, the area in between the alveolar ridge and the hard palate. This is the hard palate area, right? And this is the alveolar ridge. So it touches somewhere in between. In Sri Lankan English pronunciation, remember, but in standard British English pronunciation, these two sounds are produced by touching the alveolar ridge. So for the Britishers, for the native English speakers, t, d are alveolar sounds. But for us, they are post-alveolar sounds, post-alveolar, because the tongue touches the area after the alveolar ridge, post-alveolar, right? Okay. And there's another category, alveolar palatal, right? Alveolar palatal. Here, the front or blade of the tongue is raised to an area between the alveolar ridge and the palate, right? Right, between the alveolar ridge and the palate, mostly towards the palate, actually, right? So the sound of sh, not sir, sh. When you produce shoe, when you say shoe, right? Sh sound, you can find it's mostly the place is not exactly the alveolar ridge, right? It is more to the palatal region, right? That is an additional class anyway, right? Not a major category. And there's another important category talking about the place of articulation, palatal consonants. Palatal consonants. Here, the front of the tongue is brought up against the palate. Front of the tongue goes up and touches the hard palate, right? Okay, here the example is not 100% accurate actually, because it is not the consonant sound. Okay, hope you remember this sound now. This is the semi-vowel, the second semi-vowel, y, like in yogurt, y. That is a palatal because the front of the tongue rises and almost touches the hard palate. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, it is called palatal, not the consonant, palatal semivowel. But we have two palatal consonant sounds. Can you remember or can you guess? Two palatal consonants are there. They are there in the list, the classification. What happens is that the front of the tongue rises and touches the hard palate. Exactly, it touches the hard palate. In producing what sounds? Okay, I'll write the symbols here. I'll write the difficult symbols, okay? The ones I... which one?
Ch.
Ch, and the other one?
J.
J. Ch, j. You can produce, right? Produce and check. Ch, j. What does happen? The front of the tongue touches the hard palate. So these two are palatal consonants. Right. And then we have a clear another division, velar. Velar consonants. Velar is coming from the word velum, and velum is another word for soft palate, right? So here what happens is that the back of the tongue rises and touches the soft palate or velum, right? This area, this is the soft palate. So in this place, we produce three different consonant sounds. Three different consonant sounds. You have g, one example is given, g,
G,
and other than that,
K,
you, yeah, which one?
K,
K, g,
and
g.
N,
One more.
N,
Yes, correct. Right. The other one is this. Right. There are three velar sounds, not three velar sounds, okay? Three velar sounds, actually three velar consonants. K, G, Ng. So you can find, if you pronounce, you can find how they are produced inside your vocal tract, right? K, G, Ng. Back of the tongue rises and touches the soft palate. Although you don't know about the exact location of the soft palate, by producing these three sounds, you can find out where your soft palate is. Okay, that is the soft area after the hard palate of your mouth, right? The next one, uvula. Uvula. Now you know uvula is the particular organ that is hanging down after the soft palate. Right? Have you seen your uvula? Did you or have you ever seen your uvula so far? And that's a simple question I ask. Yes or no? No. Huh? Yes.
Yes.
Why? How? I mean, usually we don't see it. Usually you don't see your uvula, right? You can find, you might happen to see your friend's one, but not your one. So to see your one, you have to go in front of a mirror and wide open your mouth. Then you will
Yeah.
see. So Maya, you have seen it like that?
I think the small tongue. That
Yeah.
is.
Right. Yeah. So that is a small, that dangly thing, right? You find when you open your mouth
Yeah.
widely, right? Okay. So in small kids, we can see sometimes when they are like crying loudly, right? Okay. If we come back to the point, sometimes we use the back of the tongue against the uvula, right? This back of the tongue touches the uvula. So in that place, we produce some consonant sounds that are called uvular consonants. And uvular consonants are not very common in our languages. I think Sumaya in Tamil, you might have, I don't know. You might have, but in Arabic languages, you may have, right? This uk sound.
Yeah, madam.
Yeah, sound similar to this one, but the place is different. Ka is a velar sound, but is kind of, now this is the symbol. We are not very much familiar. Our languages do not use. Okay. This particular sound, but there is a sound, consonant sound like that, which is produced at the uvula, right? And the number 9, pharyngeal, I think I have forgotten to highlight this one, right? This should also be highlighted. Pharyngeal consonants, that is number 9. Pharyngeal consonants, usually that is also not available in the languages we are using. Okay, here the root of the tongue is moved backwards against the wall of the pharynx, right? The root of the tongue, you know, here. This is the root part. Usually, root of the tongue doesn't play an active role in sound production, right? It is the tip, blade, front and back only. Root, sometimes in some languages, this root of the tongue is pushed to the pharyngeal wall, producing some sounds. They are called pharyngeal sounds. Okay, pharyngeal sounds. Now epiglottis is also there, right? Here epiglottis is also there. So root and epiglottis push to the pharyngeal walls and producing some sounds. They are called pharyngeal sounds, but we are not having any examples. They are not totally out of our languages, okay, so we are not using that, right? The last category, glottal consonants. Glottal consonants are produced, actually there's only one glottal consonant inside the larynx, right? So glottal consonant doesn't have anything to do inside the vocal tract. It is produced at the glottis, in between the two vocal cords, right? Okay, so we have one glottal consonant. It is produced here inside the larynx. Actually, inside the glottis, you know, glottis is the space in between the vocal cords, no? Right? And this glottal consonant we produced in the glottis. What is that?
Ha.
Example is not, yeah?
Ha.
That is the sound I need, okay? Yeah, the sound h, h. So you can pronounce and feel h. When you say h, the air is forced, actually not forced, because vocal cords are not closed now. The air stream is pushed through the vocal cords. That's all. So what about your vocal cords? Are they vibrating? When you produce h, are the vocal cords vibrating?
Is it voiceless, ma'am?
No,
That
madam.
is what I'm asking. My next question was that actually, is
No, madam.
her voiced
No.
consonant or voiceless consonant?
Voiceless
It is a
consonant.
voiceless consonant, right? Yeah. Vocal cords are not vibrating. They are just there. In between them, the air stream is passing. That's all. Her. You can feel it when you say, right? If you produce the sound, you can feel that. Right. Okay. So these are the different places of articulation of the consonant sounds. So you may have this diagram also in order to get some idea regarding these particular places, right? So then understand inside the vocal tract. Vocal tract means actually in common both nasal and oral cavity. Vocal tract is this, the whole thing. So inside the vocal tract, particularly inside the oral cavity, you have different places of articulation of the consonant sounds, right? So according to the particular place of the articulation, you have the name. You have the type of the consonant, whether it's a bilabial, labiodental, alveolar, etc. So we have identified 10 different articulators, 10 different places of articulation like that. You have a very small work. This diagram is available in your note also, right? So take few minutes, right? Few minutes, 2-3 minutes. You need to, if you have a hard copy, you can write it on the sheet itself. Otherwise, what to do? If you don't have a hard copy, I don't know how you are going to do this work. What you have to do is to put the number in the relevant place. Bilabial, starting with bilabial, ending with glottal. You have 10 different categories according to the place of articulation. This is a very small work, okay? So write number 1, number 2, number 3, up to number 10 near the relevant arrow. That's all. Okay, do this. Okay, give me 1 minute, please. Okay, done. Finish?
Okay, madam.
Okay, check please then. Number one, bilabial sounds. Number one is the place bilabial consonants are produced. And number two, you can find exactly lower lip and the upper teeth. That is labiodental, right? Number three, dental, tip of the tongue and the upper teeth. And number four, alveolar, right? And number five, alveolar palatal. Number six, palatal. Number seven, velar, right? And number 8, uvular. Number 9, pharyngeal. And glottal, number 10 here. Okay, right. So have you done it correctly?
Yes, madam.
Right.
Madam.
Wait. Okay, right. Then we will move on to the next one and the last feature, manner of articulation of the consonant sounds. So here also we have, we'll see, right, several different manners of articulation. So we'll look at them quickly. One popular manner of articulation is the stop. It is called oral stop also. Another term is plosive. That term is not given. Plosives or stops or oral stops. The identifying feature of the stop consonant is that the air stream is completely blocked, right? Involving complete closure is that, right? The two articulators are fully blocking the air stream. Of two articulators with the velum raised. And velum is also raised there. Velum raising means, the soft palate raising means air stream cannot enter the nasal cavity, which means the sound is a oral sound, oral consonant. So you have example, actually two examples for this one. Per is one, and the other
Ber.
example, ber, right? Per and ber. Then we have another manner of articulation, nasal, right? Nasal stop. Here also airstream is completely blocked, complete closure is there. And velic opening. Velic opening means entrance to the nasal cavity is open. There is an entrance because of the lowering of the velum. The velum is lower, leaving a space for the airstream to enter the nasal cavity. We call it velic opening, right? So then the nasal consonants are produced here. So you have one example, N. N is a nasal stop consonant, right? And you find any other consonant, any other example for this except for
Ma.
N?
Ma.
Yes.
Ma.
Ma and There's one more.
Ng.
Ng also, right? Ng, that is also a stop consonant. Ng, ng. Back of the tongue touches the soft palate, no? Ng. There is a complete closure. And belly opening also, right? So I'm not going to write all the examples here, but it's good if you can add these examples other than the examples given in the note itself. Right, and another one, fricative. Fricative was parent, right? Involving close approximation of two articulators. Here, what is happening? The airstream is partially obstructed, partially. In the earlier categories, these airstream was completely obstructed or disturbed, blocked. But in fricatives, it is not completely blocked, right? Partially only. So that a turbulent airflow is produced, resulting in a hissing. That is why we call it fricatives, right? We produce friction. In other words, hissing sound or rubbing sound. Fricative is a consonant where hissing sound is produced. In simply, that is how you can understand it. So you have one example, sir. But not only sir, you have so many other consonants where friction is produced. Sir, sh, z, z, right? And sir, the, all are fricative consonants. Right. Number 4, affricates. The affricates consist of a stop released into a fricative. So you need to understand 2 types of manners are involved here in the production of affricates, right? One manner is stop. It's like a stop, and also it's like a fricative. So the affricates are starting like a stop and ending like a fricative. Okay, which means we produce an affricate by completely blocking the airstream. That is why we say it starts as a stop, right? But after that, we release the airstream with a friction, like a fricative, producing a hissing sound. You have the example ch, right? This one. The phonetic symbol of ch. You can produce it and see whether the story you understand with this one, right? The manner. Ch, we completely block the airstream, right? And then ch, we release the airstream with the friction, okay? Right, and j is the other fricative. You have another manner, number 5, trill or roll. Here also we can find a complete closure, right? Alternating intermittently with open approximation, right? Complete closure, the airflow is completely blocked, and there is this rapid vibration of the active articulator against the passive articulator, right? The example for trill is r sound, r, right? There are active articulate and passive articulate. I hope you have some understanding about these 2 types of articulators. Active articulator is the speech organ that moves, whereas the passive articulator is the speech organ that does not move anywhere. It is fixed there. So in the production of a trill, we can see the active articulator, that means the tip of the tongue, right, is vibrating. A rapid vibration is there. R, right? You can feel it, of course. And by vibrating, it touches the palate. R. Okay, right. Not very common in English, but we have r there. R in English, that is considered to be the trill. Okay, and there's another one that is flap or tap. This is momentary complete closure, right? Momentary means within a short time only we create this closure or blockage in which the active articulator strikes the passive articulator only once, quickly. It is one strike of a trill and similar to a stop, except that the tongue is more tense and controlled than in a stop, like n. You can read about the function of tongue here, right? But because of most of that, right? More than that, you need to understand how you produce a flap or tap. Now, quickly, we produce a complete blockage or closure. It's actually not lasting long there, right? Now, is one example for flap. Right, and then we have approximant, one major category of the under the manner of articulation of consonants, approximant. Here, one articulator approaches another, right? One articulator approaches another articulator, but generally not to the extent that a turbulent airstream is produced. Okay, the turbulent airstream is not produced there, but one articulator is approaching to the other one, going closer to the other one. And usually open approximation is there, and you can find open approximation means the airstream is not blocked fully. Okay, airstream is not blocked. Other than that, one articulator is going closer to the other articulator. There are three types of approximant. You can find one is lateral, the other one retroflex, and the third category glide. Right. Lateral, hope you are familiar with this one. Lateral is, we have only one lateral in English, that is L. L. Right. So you can feel the production of L if you do it. If you try to produce L now, there we use the tip of the tongue and we touch the alveolar ridge with the tip of the tongue. That is a place of articulation, alveolar. But talking about the manner of articulation, the airstream flows through the oral cavity in both sides of the tongue when you produce L. Now just try to understand what happens to your airstream when you say L. The air is pushed out of the body through the mouth. And how does this air stream flow out of the body? Through both sides of the tongue, right? L. Okay, right. And that is one approximant, and the other one retroflex. Retroflex, that is R, involving the underside of the tongue curling back behind the alveolar ridge towards the palate. Okay, so this is exactly similar to the sound of R, but there is a difference between this one and the trill, because this trill sound is not very common in English. That is, sound is similar to R sound, but you find complete closure is there, right? Complete closure, and the active articulate is rapidly vibrating, somewhat similar to that is happening in retroflex, where we curl the tongue back towards the palatal region, right? Towards the palatal region. And right, then the airstream makes the tongue vibrating here also. We produce retroflex, right? Okay, and laterals and retroflexes are called liquids. Liquids, common term, right? Excuse me. Sorry for the interruption. Right, the third category of approximant, glide. Right, glide, that you already know, that is called the semivowel, right? Another name for a semivowel is glide. There is a glide there, right? Involving a glide to or from a vowel. Vowel is there. And this is articulated like a vowel, but functions as a consonant. That is why we call it semivowel. To begin or end syllables, like, for example, were, and the other example, year. There are two glides, right? Okay. So these are the different manners of articulation, and in this table you can find both categories, right? Place of articulation this side and manner of articulation here. Okay, yeah, now in this column you can find the different manners of articulation, and they are tallied with the place of articulation, right? So under place of articulation, you have voicing here, whether the sound is voiced or voiceless. And then bilabial, dental, right? Sorry, bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, alveolar palatal, palatal, velar, glottal, right? So these are the places of articulation. So you can find, according to both place and manner of articulation, what are the consonant sounds. For example, if you identify per here, right? The consonant per, that is a bilabial consonant, and stop consonant, which is voiceless. Likewise, whatever the consonant sound you pick, you should be able to identify the place and the manner as well as voicing, right? Wherever you identify any sound, any symbol, you need to know that. Right? So this table will help you, I hope, to remember. I don't advise to learn this by heart, right? No need. But all these informations are included in this one single table. So you can use this very easily to understand the and also to remember the sounds there, right? Okay. Then we have come to the end of our discussion on consonants. And before we move on to the next one, you have a very small work there. Very small work. And please do not expect this sort of works questions in your paper. But will be useful as a practice work, right? You need to give the phonetic symbol for the initial consonant sounds in each of the following words. So there are so many words there, but don't bother with all the sounds of all these words, right? You need to give the phonetic symbol for the initial consonant sound. First consonant sound. Okay. It is here, understand the instruction clearly. We do not tell here initial sound, initial consonant sound. Sometimes the word may start with a vowel, I don't know, right? Vowel or consonant, whatever, you need to identify the initial consonant sound and write the phonetic symbol. Okay, I don't think you should refer to any dictionary, so don't do that, please. Okay, by now you have some understanding and knowledge about the consonant sounds. So using that, produce all these words one by one. Pay attention to the first sound and write the symbol here. Okay, so if you want, you can look at the note also where you have this classification of the consonant sounds with all the symbols. You can look at it and write the phonetic symbol. Okay, I'll give you around 5-7 minutes, right? My usual time given for the exercises. Around 5 minutes, right? Okay, please do this work now. Okay. Right. You're done. First word. What is the sound? We pronounce the word.
R,
Yeah.
R.
No, that is the letter, right? Now we use it the letter. R
R.
is, yeah. We pronounce the word as rhetoric. Rhetoric. Then the consonant sound is R. R. So you need to write the phonetic symbol correctly. My writing may be not that nice. Huh? It's not difficult to write here. Okay, second word. This is O-N-E. We pronounce as one. Right? Yeah. What did you write?
V.
I mean,
Semi-vowel V.
here, yes, right? One. We don't say one, right? One. Do you bite your lower lip when you say this word? One? No, it's not very convenient for us, right? We say one, which means the semi-vowel. Semi-vowel, actually, this is not a consonant, right? Semi-vowel, one, right? Okay. Next one, see the sound, the initial consonant sound
N.
N.
is N, correct, right, fine. And the next one, this one,
The.
T.
Thomas. Thomas means the sound, right? So check whether you have written these phonetic symbols with 2 slashes like this, right? Right. The next one, E-S-U-R-E, sure. Sure. That means sh, right? And the next one, how do you say this?
S.
Yeah, this is cereal, right? Cereal, that means sir. And the next one, jaguar, right?
Jaguar.
Jaguar, that means j. The symbol is this j, right? What about the next word?
What is the
Peasant.
We have unity, the starting sound. Think about the starting, the initial sound. Unity, yeah. That means the semi-vowel, right? That is the semi-vowel, right? Peasant,
P.
per, and next word, theme. Here
P.
also we get sound,
The.
right? And what about the next word? How do you say?
Sam. S.
S.
Sound, right? Per is silent there. Right. The next one,
K.
next word, chorus,
K.
S.
k, right. And the next word,
Ch.
test.
Ch.
Yeah, that is ch. Okay, right. Hope my symbols are clear to you. And the next one,
K.
next, C-H-A-R-A-D-E. How do you say? Charade. Sh. Sh. Right. And also, next word, who is pronounced with initial sh, shave, right? Next word,
G.
how do you say the word? I mean, the correct pronunciation is the basis of this word, right? If you go wrong in pronunciation, you would go wrong in your identification of the sound also. This G is not pronounced, right? This is not, which means na is the initial consonant sound, right? And then after that, W-R-O-N-G,
R.
that is wrong. R. This is R, okay? Well, and the next one, 0
The.
means
The.
z, right? And the next word, we
The.
pronounced as goes. G. And the last one, science,
Sir.
is right. Okay, fine. Very simple work, but still I hope it helped, right? You just practice to certain extent, right? And these are the answers. And this is for you to do later, right? Not now. Don't take the lecture time. The same work, but this set you need to identify the final consonant sound, not the initial one. Okay, right. So I hope you would use these exercises quite constructively to improve and to specially practice your knowledge on the consonant usage, mostly the knowledge on the phonetic symbols, right? So please do this work also when you study this module, right? Okay, right then. Now I am moving on to the vowel sound discussion. Okay. Vowel sound. I started talking about the difference between consonant production and vowel production today at the very beginning. So as I mentioned there, the most specific feature and the important feature of the vowel sounds is that they are pronounced without any obstruction done to the airstream, right? No obstruction. So we call open articulation, right? Because the airstream flows freely. But although airstream flows very freely inside the vocal tract, okay, the tongue and also sometimes the lips, they can function differently, giving a particular shape to the airstream. As a result, different consonant sounds are produced, right? In acoustic terms, vowels are sounds that vary in pitch, right? Which is determined by the quality of the sound wave, right? Now, in acoustic phonetics, what do we discussed? We talk about how the air flows through the space, right? How plus how sounds are transmitted through air, right? So in that regard, when you talk about the vowel sound production, there is this sound, right? The sound wave, quality of the sound wave is determined by these vowel sound, the different pitch levels, right? Okay, and pitch is modified by change in the shape of the resonating chamber. Resonating chamber means the oral, sometimes the nasal tract. So most of the vowel sounds are actually oral, right? Almost all the vowels are oral, unlike the consonants. But sometimes we can send the airflow through the nasal tract as well when we produce vowel sounds. Okay, resonating chamber means that tract or the cavity, whether oral or nasal. And here, if we come to the point here, pitch is modified by change in the shape of the resonating chamber, by changing the position and shape of the tongue and lips, and by lowering or raising the velum. So these are the important articulators. Tongue, lips, as well as the velum, right? These are the important articulators that are functioning to produce different vowel sounds other than the other articulators. Okay, right? And in functional terms, vowels constitute the nucleus or necessary part of the syllable. So vowels are important in that regard as well. When we talk about the syllable, right now, I think you have some idea about the syllable. Syllable is a speech unit. Okay, now can I know whether I have talked about syllables with you before this? Did I get any? I can't remember exactly whether I discussed about the syllables with you people.
Yes.
Do you know anything? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fine. Then syllable is a speech unit where there is a vowel sound compulsorily. there should be a vowel sound. There are some syllables which do not have vowels, but as theory, we say in a syllable, there is a vowel sound with or without consonants, right? Then when we talk about the functional aspect of vowels, that means how vowels are functioning in practice, vowel definitely constitute the nucleus. Nucleus means the central part or the necessary part inside a syllable. So without a vowel, we can't identify anything as a syllable. There has to be the vowel sound. Okay, that is the importance of vowels in functional terms, right? And then we have classification here also. Talking about the classification of vowels compared to the consonants, it is not that easy, right? It's difficult. Now, earlier category, hope you remember, we could easily identify the consonants, right? According to place, according to manner, and according to voicing and velum posture, we can easily identify different types of consonant sounds. But regarding vowel sounds, we can't do so, right? Because unlike the consonants, these different vowels are really difficult to recognize. Vowels are articulated not by putting the articulators into discrete configurations, but by shaping the tongue in the mouth. Okay, so we don't find different articulators are functioning differently in vowel sound productions. It is mostly the tongue, the shape of the tongue inside the mouth that decides the production of the relevant vowel sound. Okay, so there are theoretically infinite different vowel sounds forming a continuum with no distinct boundaries. So no distinct boundaries like consonants. Right, and here you have some more information about the vowels. There is significant regional and individual variation in the inventory of vowel sounds. Like phonologically, different dialects of English are distinguished primarily by their inventory of vowels, while the inventory of consonants is quite consistent across dialects. Yeah, across dialects or across languages too, maybe, right? Now, when we talk about the English, dialects of English language, okay, one dialect is different from another dialect basically on the vowel differences. Because the inventory of vowels is somewhat different from the inventory of vowels of another dialect. Inventory of vowels in one dialect is somewhat different from the inventory of vowels in another dialect. So vowels are different among the dialects, whereas the consonants are not that different, right? In almost all the dialects of one language, consonant sounds are more or less the same, but vowel sounds are different. So therefore, vowels are important for us to recognize the differences among the okay, so that is one feature in vowels. And also, we can produce acceptable vowel sounds without the full complement of articulatory gestures. Like, for example, with our teeth clenched or without the required lip rounding, we can even produce vowels by clenching our teeth, and even without rounding the lips also, we can produce some vowel sounds without having the articulatory gestures. But we can't do so regarding consonants, right? We can't do so. And differences in length combined with differences in quality in distinguishing vowels, but it's not always easy to separate these differences. Differences in length combined with differences in quality, length of the vowel and the quality of the vowel can be combined, right? Because of now, you know, there are two types of vowel sounds, tense vowels and lax vowels. And each and every vowel has tense and lax components, right? And also, now, whatever it is, although now these are the characteristics of vowel sounds, features. But these features do not help us separately identify the vowel sounds because it's not that easy if you compare it with the consonants. That is why we say here it is quite difficult to pinpoint exactly where the tongue is when a vowel is produced. We can just say that's all, right? Exact configuration is not that easy. Talk about the vowels, right? Sometimes vowels are easier to classify than consonants because for consonants we must consider 4 criteria, right? Voicing and oral or nasal feature, place and manner. But talking about the vowel sound productions, we need to pay attention to the place of articulation only, right? Because voicing is immaterial. All the vowels are voiced. And talking about the velum, right? Velum posture, all the vowels are oral vowels. And we don't talk anything about the manner of articulation in relation to vowels, but place of articulation. Okay, place according to the place of articulation, we have different vowel sounds, right? Talking about the manner of articulation, actually, all vowels are produced with open approximation. Open approximation means without any blocking done to the airstream. Airstream is not blocked. Airstream freely flows. Okay, open approximation, that is related to the manner there. So it is only in place of articulation that we can find the different types of vowel sounds. Right. Here you have some idea about the role of the tongue. Because tongue plays an important role, right? Very important role in producing different vowels. So we have so many parts of the tongue, right? Front, back, and tip, blade. So these parts can function differently when you talk about the consonant, right? But when you talk about the vowels also, these parts are important, right? We have front part, central part, and back part. Basically, 3 important parts of the tongue. If you divide it, right? Like if you consider this to be the tongue, this as the tongue, right? Unlike the consonant classification, okay, right? Unlike the classification of consonants, this area is called the front of the tongue, and this area is called the central part of the tongue, and this is called the back part of the tongue. Actually, this area, front, central, and back. Okay, right. So that is one important feature talking about the role of the tongue. And there's another important feature, the length, the extent of the tongue to which it rises towards the hard palate. How far the tongue is rising near the hard palate. Accordingly, we have 3 levels, right? We have lower level of the tongue, a middle level of the tongue like this, and high level of the tongue. High, mid, low. So the high level of the tongue is very much closer to the hard palate. And low level of the tongue means it lies down inside the mouth, and mid level is in between two. Okay. So likewise, tongue, the position of the tongue, level of the tongue, part of the tongue, everything is very important when we try to identify the vowel sound productions, right? So talking about the vowels, there are 2 types. Hope you have some idea about these 2, monotongues and diphthongs are there. Yeah, talking about the monotongue, you can understand. Mono means 1, right? That is 1. Thong stands for sound. So monothong means 1 sound. Single vowel sound. Monothong. Okay. And when you talk about the diphthong, actually, we'll talk about the diphthong after we talk about the monothongs. Diph means 2. Mono means one, right? Diph means two. So diphthong is one speech unit where there are two vowel sounds. There are two vowel sounds that are produced one after the other quickly, right? And both are considered to be one category, one unit, one speech unit. And monophthong is also a speech unit, right? Where there is only one vowel sound, only one vowel sound. So that's the difference between these two. We'll discuss more with examples. And here you have the classification of the monophthongs along with the symbol. So I will be showing you all, right? How many monophthongs are there? If you can tell from memory. How many monophthongs are there? Anybody remembers the number? No idea. Right? Now it's late at night. Everybody has gone to sleep. What has happened? How many monophthongs? The number? Right.
14.
No. Are there 14 here? I have given you the monophthongs. These are the monophthongs. How many?
12.
There are 12, right? Remember, there are 12 monophthongs. 22 consonants, 2 semivowels, 12 monophthongs, and 8 diphthongs. Right? That is how we get 44. So are you familiar with these sounds then? Because I have given the words and underlined the places where you get the sound, and the symbols are there. So symbols, you need to remember the symbols. That's a must. Just like you remember the consonant symbols. Here. Now the first, I will go through quickly. First one is short E sound, right? Short E like in rip, women, city. In all the places I have underlined, you can get the short E sound, and then E, like B, receive, E sound. The third one, A. When you say bet, said, head, right? And the next one, A sound. Be familiar with the symbol, remember the symbol, right? And then A sound, where you open your mouth and you drag it. That's a tense vowel, right? You drag it. A, like in farm, father, calm, likewise. And the next one, O sound, that is a short sound, like in hot and quality. Now, see the difference between spellings and the pronunciation. QUALITY. That is a spelling, right? But pronunciation is totally different. Quality is not a phonetic word. You don't write it as how you pronounce it. So the sound is O sound, right? And the next one, O, like boat, coat, so, O sound, you drag it. And the next one, short sound again, U, like good, wood. And the lengthy sound of that, U, is found like in wound, soon, root, right? And the next symbol is not very familiar. That looks like upside down V. This is right? And remember this sound and this sound. These two sounds are different, right? The earlier one, this is like in farm. But the next, this one, this is sudden Quickly we say like in but, hut, done. We don't drag it there. Okay, right. And the next vowel is, actually, this is one of the famous vowel sound. This is the most famous vowel sound, I should say, among the native speakers of the English language. Very, very much used, right? And there's a name also for that called schwa. Schwa. We find schwa in at the initial and end position of some words. Even in the middle position also it's there, right? Address, grammar, attend, apply, admit, a sound, right? It is not a, it is a. And the tense vowel of that is a. We drag it, right? Bird, herd, bird, like that. Okay? We drag it, right? Okay. So these 12 monotones you need to remember sound as well as their symbols. Okay, right. And when we talk about the vowel sounds, we can't leave out the cardinal vowel diagram. It is very important, but I am going to introduce the cardinal vowel diagram only, okay? I do not want to discuss it in very detail. It's not required here. I should tell you now in cardinal vowel diagram what's happening. Okay. In cardinal vowel diagram, what has happened is that actually the person called cardinal, okay, that this diagram is named after the person who has found this. So he has invented this diagram in order to identify the location of vowel sounds. So I told you earlier, it is difficult to identify the production of vowels just like we identify the production of consonants easily, right? We can't do it with vowels, so it's really difficult. We can't find exactly where inside our mouth we produce E, or where inside our mouth exactly we produce A or A. It's quite difficult, right? So this diagram helps us locate the vowels we produced inside our mouth. Okay, so you can take this direction as tongue. This is the tongue, right? Tongue like this. Consider this whole thing as the tongue. Then you can find out this is the front part of the tongue. You can find the word front area of the tongue. This is the central area. This is the back area. Right? And there's another feature I introduced earlier to you, the level to which the tongue rises. According to that, this high level is there. Okay. This is the high level and this is the mid level and somewhere down here is the low level. Okay, right. Not only that actually, okay, I'll go to the next part. We have some phonetic features of vowels, right? Like we had in consonants. Can you remember? We had 4 phonetic features of the consonant sounds. Just like that, in relation to vowel sounds also, we have 4 phonetic features. The part of the tongue that is raised. That is what here we mean by front, central, or back. Okay, and then the extent to which the tongue rises toward the palate. That is what we identified here as high level, mid level, or low level. These are the first 2 criteria or features, and we have another 2. But before that, you have this simple work. And now I think the time is up. We need to wind up our discussion for today. But you have a small work. We are meeting in about 7 days now, right? I have given you some examples for sounds. In your note, you might find this, I hope. Okay, right? Yeah. So what you have to do is to identify what the front vowel is, what the central vowel is, and what the back vowel is. There are only 3 vowels I have given. So identify these 3 vowels there and write here as examples. And regarding the second feature, I have given you high, mid, low. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Right. Okay, everything is here. Right. Okay. I think now it's clear to you. The second set, the extent to which the tongue rises towards the palate. So here also high vowel, mid vowel, low vowel, you need to identify from the given set. And the third criterion, the position of the mouth, there has to be a bullet here. Right. So regarding the position of the mouth, we have closed and open position. I have given you 4 examples. You need to match what are the closed vowels and what are the open vowels from the given set. And the fourth feature, the kind of opening made at the lips, whether the vowel is round vowel or spread vowel. So here also I have given you 4 examples. Identify the round vowels and spread vowels separately and write them here in the given space. So for that, you can make use of this cardinal vowel diagram. Okay. And next day, when I meet you, I'll start with this work and I'll refer back to the cardinal vowel diagram also. Okay. In order to understand this part more clearly. But please, you do your work, right? Complete these blanks and also read the note, because I may be a little bit fast in future also until the end of this lesson. So therefore, please do your background work and homework. Okay, as the time is up, I am going to wind up the discussion for today. Right. And some people have gone early. Right. Okay, so if you have any problem, please put them forward during the next session regarding the consonants and vowels. Up to then, I'm going to wind up. Okay, right? Anything difficult or not clear today? I'm not going to discuss further, but I'm just asking for my knowledge. Anything which is not clear regarding consonants and vowels?
No, ma'am. Very clear, full explanation we gained today.
Okay, Nirosha. Right, thank you. Then good night, all of you.
Thank you so
Right.
much.
Okay, we'll meet next week. Right, bye.
Good night, madam.